To illustrate why the Green Dream is good, let me show you guys a normal banner. Right? This is a normal 6% banner with 3% on focus. And here are the rates. Do keep in mind, the jacked up percentage for Owain is because Owain is a 4-star. So it's at 12.57%. Okay. So it's not perfectly 1-to-1 because all heroes, there's no 4-star version of a AHR character, right? So it's kind of different, but pay attention to other rates. 3% chance focus on red to get dual chrom, 3.59%. There's a variance in these numbers because of the amount of heroes in said pool. Okay. So that's how it works. 3.59% for Lucina, 12.57%, but if you remove the 4-star rate, it will drop to 3-something%. For colorless, it's 2.97%. So approximately 3% for everything. Okay, so to break it down perfectly, this is Eldervi showing it years ago, and this is how I learned about it, and how a lot of people learn about it, that color sharing is good. So let's keep going. So color chance percentage. So chance of at least one of these colors showing up as one orb, 75% for red, 69% for green, 83% for blue, and 77% for colorless. The average orbs for a focus hero is 120 for red, 116 for green, 22 for blue because, again, 4-star hero, and then colorless is 121. That's the rate. It's very close to each other. Green slightly favored. Okay, but what does it look like when you have all being of one color? Here's Eldervi showing it off as just green. This is not modern anymore. This is out of date because there are more heroes in the pool. So these percentages do in fact change, but I'll give you guys a more recent one after this. It is now 3.15% for each, and combined together, it's 12.59%, which means instead of having that rate split up, it's all together. So when you go every single time you go for a green orb, it has a 3.15% chance any of the heroes that you want. Added together, it is 12.59%. What does this mean? So when someone says, hey, I'm trying to snipe for so-and-so, I wish it was all colors instead so I can snipe them easier, that's factually and mathematically incorrect. You have the same amount of chance, despite it being one color, it's the same amount of chance, which there's slight variances on it, all right? I don't know what banner it is. I don't know which hero it is talking about, but the general idea is that's not true. So 3.15% chance. So if I was going for dual Corrin, it's 3.15% chance. Again, going back to a banner like this, say I was going for prom, it's a 3.12% chance. It's not exactly the same, I get that. Slight variances, but you're not losing any chance just because it's all of one color. It's a huge misconception to say, I can't snipe for said character because it's one color. That's not true. That's the math. That's proving it. With that said, the shared focus is why these banners are so good. That means if you only go for one color, you're gonna get so much value out of it. The banner itself is much more valuable. In this case, you have a dual hero, a legendary hero, a mythic hero, and a harmonic hero. You will never get that kind of rate ever in any scenario. This is even better than legendary banners, despite legendary banners being 8%, because all these high value classes are available, and all you have to do is just go for one orb, and you have a higher chance of getting a high value class than any other banner. Now, that said, let's show you guys in modern times. This is AHR 2024 true summoning odds. This is someone doing the math currently. So this is now the truest rates. These are the accurate rates, I believe. I didn't fact check him, but I think these are right because these are close to Eldervi's from 2 years ago, and once you add heroes in, the numbers change slightly, and so this should probably be right. Chance of at least one orb of this color, 77% for red, 76% for blue, 73% for green, and 79% for colorless. So if somebody says, hey, I don't like Green Dream because I can't get green orbs to snipe for, they're correct. It is the lowest amount of chance, but it's not that much worse. Can it happen? Yes. But you know what? You could be pretending this was Red Dream and it was 77% chance, for example, and you might very rarely get red orbs. Regardless of how things work out, it is still chance, right? You could still be unlucky. Just because 79% chance for colorless versus 73% for green, there's a 6% variance, it's not the end all or be all. You could still be as unlucky as possible and never get a colorless orb, or unlucky as possible and never get a green orb. That's how it works. Anyways, this assumes you're sniping green stones only, so the average orb cost to get a 5-star if you snipe only greens is 33 orbs. This is worse than it was before. Before, it was 29 orbs if you only snipe green orbs to get a focus hero. The rationality is simple. There are more green heroes in the game, so therefore, the chances of getting said hero is now worse than before. I could be slightly off on some things. I understand that. I'm trying to say it in as general and as easy of a way possible. There's a lot more to this, so I hope people understand that. Anyways, worst case scenario, to get a specific focus is 119 orbs. That could happen. Absolutely. Anyways, the raw chance of any focus is 13%. That's why these banners are amazing. It's way over 8%. A specific focus is 3.253%. And to spark, which should be 185 orbs for 40 pulls, expecting the worst case scenario, 99.4% for any focus and 66.6% for specific focus. Anyways, this is the Green Dream. This is why it's so good. Now, I understand people are going to bring up, hey, what if it wasn't one color? What if it isn't all colors. So what if it's a split scenario? Here's from Eldervi 2 years ago. Why is color sharing good? Here's what it looks like when it's no color sharing. For example, this is the banner as an example. So you have 25 red orbs, 22 green orbs, 27 blue orbs, and 26 colorless orbs. All right, so that's your chances, right? The 5-star is the chance of getting a 5-star if you pull said color. That's the indication of this. Now, if it's 2 units color sharing, this is what happens. 25 orbs for red, one of them will be a 5-star, 22 orbs for green, 2 of them will be a 5-star, and then 26 orbs for colorless. That's what happens at 2 units color sharing. You can decide whether you think that's better or not, but this is example. Dual, Corrin, and Mythic Thor, both are green. And so the 2 rates got stacked together. You have an entire row of dead orbs now, right? 27 orbs in blue that are now dead. And then for colorless, 26. It stays the same. Okay. Now, what happens is 4 units color sharing. Then it's all jacked into 1 rate. 22 orbs of green available. Every time you pull, there's a higher chance because there's 3 5-stars involved into it now. Or 4, but only 3 of them were illustrated. Okay, so that's to show it. What is the math? So no color sharing, 3 out of 100 equals 3% chance, which means to get, say, dual Corrin equals 1 out of 4 times 3% equals 0.75%. 0.75% out of 22 equals 3.37% chance, which therefore means out of 100 green orbs, it gives 3 to 4 5-stars. To illustrate it, now, what if it's 2 units color sharing? 3 out of 73 equals 4.11% chance. So 2, because it's now 2 green heroes, these 2 equals 2 out of 4 times 3% equals 1.5% chance. 1.55 out of 22 equals 6.75% chance, which means 100 green orbs gives 6 to 7 5-stars. And finally, in the green dream scenario, it means 3 out of 22 equals 13.5% chance, which is 4 out of 4 times 3% equals 3% chance, aka the entire focus rate, which means 100 green orbs gives 13 to 14 5-stars. I don't know if you guys even understand all that I went through, but here's mathematical proof that a dream scenario, in this case, green dream, is the best chances possible of getting a 5-star. So please, if someone says split up into one of each color, in other words, all pull, factually incorrect is the reality of it all. If someone says it's harder to snipe for a hero that they want, again, factually incorrect. The only scenario that anything they said makes sense in is in a sparking scenario. In a sparking scenario where you're going all pull, yes, you will have the lowest orb spent before you spark. But in the actual reality of it all, which is trying to pull as many 5-stars as possible, Green Dream is the best case scenario. There you go. I hope it's all explained now. Is there any questions? I really needed to go through all this because I keep hearing otherwise. I know I'm slightly off on some things. I try to say it as simply as possible. I already think it's complicated enough for most people. Once you bring in so many numbers, it's just too complicated.